Friday, March 27th. It's a quiet week. The last week of each month often is because there's such big data coming the next week. And that's one of two central stories this week, maybe three. Next Friday, April 3, is the first Friday of the month. We get non-farm payrolls from the Bureau of Labor Statistics together with wages. And it's an explosive report every month, but having lost my eyebrows in the lab on several previous occasions, one of the things to look out for in the springtime is Good Friday. And when the Bureau of Labor Statistics, in its infinite wisdom, decides that's the day to release the most important report of the month, which is also Passover, which means there's nobody home in financial markets. And really, not here, not Europe, not any place, which means any surprise gets magnified because there's nobody home. And some of the largest moves that I've ever seen in markets have taken place over Easter weekend for that reason. And especially so this time for number two leading story. Janet Yellen spoke again today after I put the copy to bed. Nothing really new in it except this quiet insistence that the Fed is going to lift off from zero and is going to do it this year. We're now a quarter of the way into this year, which means liftoff, at least in theory, is drawing nearer and nearer. And the bond market, still sitting 10-year T-note near 2%, is sitting in splendid denial in hopes of a reprieve from the governor, something that the Fed really doesn't mean it, or if it means it will do very, very little for very, very long. And I'm nervous that the bond market in particular is in that kind of denial and doesn't hear the Fed. But the day to test that is next Friday. You don't want to have an interest rate floating with anything before next Friday. And you really want to get locked by about Wednesday before the markets start to realize what all could happen. And to keep it even-handed, if the jobs data are on the weak side, the results could be just as explosive as they would be on the upside. The third story, at some length in the copy nearby, we spent a lot of the last year worried about geopolitical events, Ukraine, Middle East, Europe, Japan, China. My hunch is that although political forces here, principally right-side political forces, in the news media are trying to gin up the idea that the world is more dangerous every day, I don't think it is. I think it's probably less dangerous. The events in the Middle East bear watching, they bear study, but the disengagement of the United States, I think in many ways makes it less dangerous than it had been while we were trying to suppress events that in many ways are long overdue for the locals in the Middle East to settle affairs for themselves. But there we have it. I can't wait till next Friday. The jobs data come out at 8:30 in the morning New York time, which is before dawn for most of the country. And Good Friday, Passover, by 9 o'clock in the morning, should be some pretty good stuff flying through the air. Thank you very much.